Welcome everybody to TruExact Show. I am here with Brian, Dan, Eric. Our special guest tonight is Celia Werner, photographer, videographer, kind of a jack of all trades. I'm not sure if jack of all trades is used for a female, but I apologize. It could be something else. I just don't know.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Jill of all trades. Let's roll with it. All right, Jill of all trades. Celia, thanks for coming on. Before we get started, how are you doing? You staying safe during this time?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing as well as everyone else who's not used to being home all the time. But I'm trying to make the best of it. I'm trying to do a lot of different things online, including like brand recognition and helping other people do live streams for their company, their whatever they need live streams for.
Awesome. All right, before we get into some questions, we like to go down the rabbit hole and the path of how you got started in this field. What interested you? Was it when you were younger? Were you in high school? So start with that.
So in high school, I wanted to be a YouTuber. This was the age of Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson and that whole circle of people. And I was like, this is really cool. I actually made some videos that are no longer on YouTube, but they were very much like Grace Helbig. Let me do a quick little challenge. Let me do a funny little thing. And I was like, this would be awesome if I can do this as a job. So when I looked for colleges, I was like, what can I do with video? I always had pretty good grades, but I didn't really have to study. So I was like, none of this is really sticking as a thing, and video isn't something that's at every high school. So when I realized that you can do that with college, I went for it, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do a Bachelor of Science in TV and film production. And I did that for a while. Obviously, I went to Hofstra University, and I interned for Nick Jr. and Fox News Radio, which we do not talk of this because it gives me flashbacks of the last election.
We are down the middle, Celia. We are right down the middle. We do not leave.
Yes, no politics, but
regardless of what people might think, right down the middle. Go on.
Perfect. I'm glad to be with people that are down the middle.
Yeah,
and then after that, I worked with an MTV2 show. It was a travel drinking game show. And then after that, I was working on a show, and they said, hey, the network pulled the plug, and we're paying you through the end of the week. And then I had to figure out what I was doing after. So I realized all the freelance I was doing was making more than the day-to-day job. So I started freelancing full time.
Wow. How did your parents react when you said you want to be a YouTuber? I'm just curious.
My mom, she likes to make fun videos. She has her own TikTok. She was like, okay, if you want to do something with video, cool, because she was teaching teachers how to make video content for their classrooms at that time. I actually went with her and taught the teachers how to edit on what is it, Movie Maker, Movie Maker Live, whatever it was at that time. So she was like, okay, you want to do something with video? Go for it. I don't think they realized what I was going to do with that, but they probably thought I was just going to work for some TV network or something. But I mean, she was fine with it. My dad was like, oh, okay. But once I started working and doing Sweet 16s, I did Sweet 16s and weddings and stuff through college. And he saw that I paid off my loans before I left college. He was like, yeah, you're going to do something. I'm not worried. You're going to make money somehow.
I could just say you've made me, I don't know about the other three people here, you've made me feel extremely non-successful with your stories, as I'm still paying credit cards from a lawnmower I bought, and you're sitting here, oh yeah, I paid my student loans off, it is what it is. So, but that must have been scary though, because when you realize freelancing was the way to go, it's kind of like being an artist in music and not signing with a label, not getting effed over and owning your own shit. How scary was that to just say, I'm going to do this myself? It's kind of an all or nothing thing, right?
Yeah, I would agree. It is a scary thing. And I have urged some of my friends to try it But I know that it's a special kind of person that can actually do it.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, I was doing those sweet 16s and weddings, and I was like, all right, I can always fall back on sweet 16s and weddings to make money. But like, I moved into the corporate space, which is where I actually made money, and like, this is like some of my gear behind me, like this wall of backpacks and other things is full of cameras and wiring. But it's like you said, signing not signing with a company and kind of just doing it. You don't have that reliable income. You don't have someone giving you health insurance. You don't have like this reliable, okay, I'm making $1,000 a week. It's, hey, this week we made $500, but like next week we're making $10,000. Like, it
Right.
depends. Obviously, it's not always that big. I would love for it to be that big.
Pre or
But
post
like,
taxes.
got to get yourself a LLC or an S corp, and it helps with that. But
There you go.
it's one of those things where you kind of have to have a personality where you're willing to go and talk to people and willing to say, hey, networking group, I do video, your business needs me. Or else you're going to just kind of be sitting home being like, I hope someone calls. I need money.
Right.
So like between like you really want to get into like videography, like was it an easy transition to also be like I'm going to do photography as well, or is that more of like learn as you go?
So that's actually a funny, weird thing. Videographers that got into photography first are usually very talented photographers, but videographers that got into videography first have trouble taking a simple picture because their brain thinks in, okay, I'm going to start here and I'm going to move over there. So when they're trying to frame like a picture, and like, he's going to kill me, but my boyfriend works with me as a videographer. He got into videography first. He's like, I can never frame it right. Like, I can never get all of the things that I want. So that's why, like, when we go on a gig together, I take the photos and he takes the videos.
God, men are stupid. We're so stupid.
No, I wouldn't say that. I know some wonderful male photographers that do some crazy good work, and I actually like subcontract a couple people I went to college with because of that. Whenever I can't make a wedding, I go, hey Mike, hey Trent, can you cover this for me? And I like to keep, like, for lack of a better word, the money going to the people that I care about.
Right. That's very noble and loyal of you. You said that you took your old stuff down. Why?
No one needs to watch me trying like the Harry Potter Birdie Bots, like every flavor bean from 2010. Like,
You
no
gotta
one needs.
start somewhere. I mean, it's kind of like a nice. I still have my.
Oh, no, it's not that it's gone. I promise you. Like, I have it unlisted. I still have it, but I don't think that, me as like someone that owns my own business, like,
Right.
needs to have someone look up, Celia Werner and find these odd random videos popping up being like, oh, do I really want to pay this person to like come and like help my business?
That's how I am. I still have songs from 2003 that I have on the internet, and they will never know where they are. They're out there, but they will never know where they are.
You're going to have a super fan find it one day. Just watch.
There are people who do know, but they will not divulge the information.
MySpace still exists.
Brian, you will not divulge the information.
I want to know where automatic is.
All right, I'm
So
gonna
I know where
So
it all-
Celia, with
go on.
with like weddings and stuff, like when you're like subbing it out to like other like people, is that like more of like how do you like sell that out to people? Because people are probably like buying it on you because they like trust you, like they love your personality and stuff. Was it like when like you're like, oh, I'm gonna send somebody else out there because I'm too busy?
So that's an interesting question, and that's something I wrestle with a lot. But one of the things that, one of the ways that I get a lot of the work that I get, especially in terms of like the weddings and things like that, is I work with a couple of different companies, like DJ entertainment companies. Mm-hmm. So if the DJ entertainment company says, hey, we have a wedding on, I don't know, what's today? We're going to pretend it's today, October 15th.
Right.
October 15th is the wedding. If I am booked here to talk to you, wonderful gentlemen, I can't be at that wedding. So what they do is they don't say who is going to be the photographer at that wedding, but they do say that I am the head of the department. So I am the head of the photo video department for enjoyable entertainment. So they'll talk to me and I'll get the details and I'll be like, all right, you're going to be working with Mike. And then they'll be working with Mike. So that works that way. But if it's through my company and I'm already booked that day, I will just be flat out. I'll be like, hey, I know that you want to work with us, and I will have one of my team members come and cover this, and it's going to be the same quality as if you're working with me, because obviously I don't want someone to, with like my company and my
It's
name,
your brand, yeah.
do something that's not going to be in line with that. So the people that I work with, I trust to do whatever the job is, or else I unfortunately will turn the job away.
Jeez.
Has there ever been an issue? Has there ever been an issue where, you don't have to say names, but the person didn't show up or did a horrible job or did something and you had to answer for that? No?
Not yet.
That's awesome.
She's waiting on the days. Yeah, how'd you pick your group? How did that happen? Like, how do you hire the people?
So I have a few people that I work with in just different capacities, like whether they do just photo, just video, if they're an audio person, whatever it may be. So the fact that my boyfriend works in the industry, that's a given. Like he's working with me, and like we'll go and do shoots where we're both there, which actually makes it a lot more easy for both of us, because we know how each other works, and also, you know, he can drive and I can do anything else in the car. So I'll just sit there and do emails or something on the way. But the other people, like I mentioned, I went to college with a bunch of them. And Hofstra is notorious for turning out really good production people. So if I ever see that one of my friends from college are like doing freelance for some reason, I'm just like, hey, like, are you busy for this date? Oh, like if anything comes in, are you interested? Like, what gear do you have? Because obviously that's a whole other side of things that are really important, because there was one time where I reached out to someone and I was like, hey, can you cover this thing? Like, it's really easy. You need like a camera on sticks and then like a lav mic or something. And they're like, oh, I don't have like any microphones. I usually rent them every single time that I do a shoot. And I'm like, a microphone? Like a microphone. So it's just kind of getting to know what the capabilities of each person is, and then bringing in whoever's right for the job, and just, you know, meeting people through doing work.
I will say, you don't take no shit. You got fire in you. Like, seriously. Like, honestly, like there was a video on her website. I watched it, and you started off by throwing shade at people, right? You said
Is
nowadays.
it the photo one?
Yeah, no, you say
It's the
nowadays.
photo one.
He goes, nowadays everyone thinks they're a photographer because, you know, they use an iPhone. And it was just like, wow. Like, and then you're like,
I'm one of those people.
how you are.
I mean, I'm one of those people too. I have the fancy one with 3 lenses.
But you
I
just
got
straight
two,
up.
but it's whatever.
But like, I liked it because there's so many people who your stuff is probably so, like, you know, you take it to heart and you have a lot of passion. So when you got some nitwit who like posts some photo of their cantaloupe and like puts it on Instagram, or like, I'm a photographer, you're probably like, shut up, you know. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Everything
so,
is art, Scott.
What?
Everything is art.
Shut up, Brian. No, everything's not art. But like, how do you judge the equipment you use, you know?
So, equipment is one of the things that people always are, I want to say, fixated on, because everyone's just like, oh, I could just take this on my iPhone. And I know that's kind of the gist of the video that I said, but do you know how to frame things? Do you know how to light something? Do you know how to correctly use like a flash? Do you know how to do all of these different things that go along with the equipment? So that's the number one thing that I like to bring up. Like, do you know the fundamentals of how to make something not look bad?
It'd be great if like you just crush someone's dream. Like, it's like someone's taking a photo of their food and you walk up to them, excuse me, you're not framing that correctly.
Do you know the rule of thirds? Do it. Do it
I
right.
need like the glasses that come down, like the meme, just like, hey, like you're doing this wrong.
The gangster.
But in terms of like actual gear, like there's different tiers of gear, there's different kinds of cameras, there's different things for different jobs. So like, for instance, like I'm not going to use the same camera in a low light room that I would use running around outside. So like gear, I would say and I have plenty of it. There's some over here, there's some over there. Like I have it, this entire room is full. But it's more about understanding how to use a camera and understanding what's going to be the best for this picture. I can tell by looking, not to point you guys out, but you guys are each doing something different with your laptop camera, and I'm doing something different too. But that just all goes to like the understanding and what you can do with these different things, because, and you've checked out my Instagram, a lot of that stuff was shot on iPhone.
Really?
There's like an entire movie shot on an iPhone too. Like that's like Scott like basically asked my question too. Is like everybody thinks that they can just do this. Like how much is it what you're actually using versus like the actual like hardware of like stuff with like filters and all of that like in the back end?
For what I'm doing, I'm using all the stuff that I'm using for the maximum of what I can do with it. I have DSLRs, I have camcorders, I have cinema cameras, I have drones, I have action cameras like GoPros. Everything does a different job. So if one of you guys are like, I want to do a really good football video. I don't know. I'm just picking football.
We do a turkey bowl every year, so if you want to record that, well, you're more than welcome.
Okay, I'll be there. But my point is, like, it's going to be an extremely different look if I'm using a GoPro or putting it on a stabilizer or flying over you guys with a drone. You got to figure out what the intention for the video is, or the photo, whatever it may be, and you need to think, all right, how do I best attack this? And that's the reason why what I shoot looks different than someone doing it on a phone, because the phone, and maybe not this one just because it has a wide lens and a telephoto lens, but a phone is going to look the same no matter what you're doing with it in terms of the sensor of the phone and the quality, that the max output that it can do. Because if you're doing it in the middle of a sunny day, it'll look good because it's not trying to compensate for something. But if you can see what my webcam is doing right now, you see all these like little speckles and particles. That's because it's trying its best to do it on auto, and that's what the phones do, unless you have like some sort of manual app.
You said that you recognize what each of us are doing here. I realize that the money is in my personality, not this. So I try to do as much as I can to lighten it up and stuff. So you get.
Who has the best lighting right now out of all of us?
I think we know who has the best lighting out of all of us right now. I'm not talking about me. No, I'm kidding.
No, go on.
No, I'm just rambling about camera settings. So,
I love it. Yeah, no. Yeah. And I want to ask, is that the same with anything? Like when we record a song or something, does it now, like obviously there's $5,000 mics, but then there's stuff we recorded 15 years ago, and Brian could agree, that we did on like $100 mics that almost sounded as good. So when you said it's just not really the price, it's how you know what you're doing. Does that go with everything? Like whether it's a microphone, whether it's a video. So you're that good to think like as someone as your caliber, you could buy a $100 camera and I could buy like a $500, but you know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
There's actually, I have a lot of things to say about that whole question.
All right, let's go.
Because I can also talk audio. I'm literally looking, I have a Yamaha MG12 mixer in front of me, and I have a bunch of Sennheiser mics over there. But basically, like, there's been a lot of videos doing comparisons of like, hey, like I have this $5,000 camera that I gave my friend, and I took their like $200 DSLR, and we did a comparison shoot. And usually, like, things are pretty, it's like impressive, I would say, with the cheaper camera, because you understand like, hey, you should stand over here to get good lighting, and you should compose it this way so that you make sure that you're getting all of the things that you need in your shot. So I would argue to say, unless something has like a really low pixel count or something like that, that is physically giving you like something like these specs in my picture right now, like you are able to get a good picture out of most things. That's why I actually did a video about lighting for Zoom calls at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's got like, I think it has like 50,000 views on it right now, because like theoretically, if you use the auto settings on like a laptop, which like I have no control over this. You have no control over yours either, unless you have an external camera. If you know how to manipulate that camera that is working on auto, you can make it look great. If you see someone doing a laptop video in the middle of the day and like they're sitting towards a window, you could easily mistake that for like a better camera, because you're manipulating it to do what you need it to do. So that's, I would say with any piece of technology, like photo, video, audio, sometimes audio, there's like some really bad microphones, like that are just bad microphones. I did a
Go
test
ahead.
for
Go
one.
ahead,
It was
call 'em
just,
out.
it was bad.
Go ahead, say the name.
Oh, I don't even know what the name was. Like, it was like some Chinese brand that was like, hey, try out our microphone. And I was like, sure, I'll try out your microphone. Thankfully, like, they didn't, I was like, I can't give a review for this. And they were just like, then don't give a review for this. And I was like, I won't. It was like half plastic. But like things like that, like, you know, you're not going to get a good sound out of no matter what. But some people just need that for sitting on a Zoom call.
Right.
And that goes back to me saying that every piece of equipment has a different job.
I hate to break it to you. You said your one video got 50,000 views. You'll get about 49,940 less views with this because our show does not have that type of traffic.
Most of my stuff doesn't have that kind of traffic either, but that video alone got me back to monetizing my YouTube channel.
Nice. Good for you.
So,
I'm happy for you.
Thank
Brian,
you.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny that you said the thing about monetizing YouTube. I heard that there was like, I don't know, I watched the video on there explaining like the numbers, like the amount of money you get paid versus the views. And it was like not like people think you can get like crazy rich from that. And
Nope.
that's not.
No, the way that people make money online doing those things like that is making deals with brands. So if you see someone, especially, I'm going to talk audio because we know audio.
Sure,
So if you're doing something with Sennheiser and Sennheiser is like, I will send you a microphone to do a video about, I want you to talk about it and show how it's used. That's not the case for the one that I did about the Sennheiser microphone. But if they say like, hey, like your videos typically have this much traffic on it, we'll give you $2,000. That's how they're making the money.
Yeah, it's a pay to play. It's a pay to play. I mean, it's the same with like, it's the same with artists getting played on the radio, man, that we've talked to a lot of rappers about. If you're backed by a label with millions of dollars and they're pushing Hot 97, they're playing those artists. It's a pay-to-play business. That it kind of sucks, but that's happy. It's lucky that like the internet's around for the independent labels or production companies. I want to know though, when did you decide to start your own like company actually? Like when did you like invest in it and go for it? Like what age were you and you decided to just say fuck it, let me do it?
So that's actually a funny answer because there's two different milestones with that. The first milestone is I was doing a lot of weddings and my dad asked the family lawyer, hey, like, you know, should she set something up? Like, would that be a good idea? Like, because she's getting just like paid cash for all of this. And he came back like, I don't remember how much later, but he was like, yeah, I incorporated Celia Werner Productions. And my dad was like, oh, okay. So that was in 2013. I was 19 at the time. And then in 2017, mind you, in all of the time in between, I was still doing freelance gigs, doing parties, doing small gigs for different places, kindergarten graduation, whatever it may be. And then I was working for the TV show, like I mentioned, and like when you're working on a TV show, like specifically a TV show, not for like a network position, you are kind of like a permalancer. So you're there for 3 months or however long production is. Sometimes it's as short as 2 weeks and then you move on to the next show, which is why networking is so important, especially in the TV and film industry. So they said, hey, we'll pay you till the end of the week. And then I'm sitting there weighing my options because am I just going to apply around until I hopefully get a job somewhere? Or am I going to go off and do this by myself? Entry level in television is probably similar to entry level in like, I guess the music industry as well. You're getting paid minimum wage. And at least in the TV industry, you're working 12s. So I was making after all of my expenses, not rent, because I like was lucky at that time and I was like getting helped out by my parents for that year. But I was making $300 a week in profit before counting feeding myself and before anything else, because I had to take the train to Manhattan to go to this job. So they would give you $550 a week before taxes. And then the monthly was $300 and something, and then the subway was another X amount. So I was like, am I going to do this? Am I going to commit to just going into Manhattan and doing this every day and like doing my 8 to 10 hours plus 3 hours round trip commute? Or am I going to try and find customers that are going to work with me? So I met a couple of companies that decided, hey, like we can use you as a subcontractor, and I just started running with it and being able to share what I'm doing, like posting about it on Instagram and showing the different kinds of sets. It just started turning into the business that I have today.
I have to say, you join a long list of people we've had on, whether it's magicians, DJs, rappers, actors. You guys just work your ass off to get where you are. And like I say this all the time, like off the air, like you don't realize how much people think people just fall into shit, but like you guys work so fucking hard to get where you are. Like that, even whether it's a musician you don't like, that musician was playing for 20 straight weeks on open mics. Like you said, you were making 300 a week. There were so many times where you could have just said, I am not doing this shit, and you just stuck with it. So it really is, I find it extremely motivating. People like you. You motivate me personally. Like I think it's amazing. Like and I really I admire it. I really do.
Well, I'm glad I could be inspiring, and thank you for the kind words.
No problem.
Like to what you were saying, like that's kind of what I was saying, like with freelancers, like you have to have a mindset because, and I guess, and you guys probably can attest to this too, like, especially with musicians, it's the ones that put in the time and the effort instead of like, for instance, like people I graduated with are totally working in other fields because they didn't want to put in the, hey, let me make content so I can show people my skills, or hey, like, let me go to these networking meetings and try and find someone that needs a video editor or whatever it may be. Like you gotta put in sometimes you have to be creative about it, but you gotta put in the work.
It goes into what Organic said. He founded one of the main battle leagues, and he said if you're not willing to invest in yourself, you already lost. That quote stuck with me. It still does to this day.
It's a good quote.
But the thing is too, it's more than just money, it's time.
Yeah.
Like, are you willing to invest that time? Because I mean, there's no guarantee that anything's going to work out or when it's going to work out, but the universe rewards those that take risks. So taking that leap, that brings you can't fail when you do that. Yeah. Because you're betting on yourself in that moment.
Still could. 6% chance, buddy boy.
What?
It's a 6% chance of failure with any business that you open up with.
Jesus, damn.
Are you telling me that
it's a true fact.
No, it is a true fact. Especially this year.
We were talking about all this motivating stuff, and Dan's like 60%.
Stay level. Stay level.
No,
keep your head in the clouds. Keep your feet on the ground.
You know, I agree with you though. Like there's a lot of businesses that go under, but that's because you have to be ready to adapt and you have to be ready to make changes. Like for instance, this year has been a ride. Like when I started working, I was doing high volume of cheap shoots. So if I was making $250 a shoot, then I was doing 3 of them in a day for like Yelp or Groupon or something. It's a pretty good amount for a day. So I was doing that, and I was working like 18-hour days sometimes because I had to shoot them, I had to edit them, and I had to turn them around quick. But now, I would say especially this year, I'm booking less jobs for a larger price mark. I made a change, and one of the changes was to do a lot more live stream and to do bigger scale projects. And, you know, I adapted and I changed what I was doing. I changed who I was marketing to. I'm still here. I'm not one of the 60%. Some people, they're like, I do this thing and I only do this thing. Right. And that's someone that's going to be like, I only do, let's see, I only do food photography for restaurants. If you only do food photography for restaurants during COVID-19, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of restaurants that aren't going to pay you to do food photography. So it's all about adapting and making yourself useful to people.
What's one of the more like interesting ones?
Dan, no matter how hard you root for her to fail, she's
not. No, I'm not. Like It's a journal fact. So like, what's like one of like the more like interesting things that like you've like found like that you are photographing or videographing or anything or live streaming now that you weren't before?
You mean in terms of like the content or
Yeah.
like, so previously prior to this year, I was doing a lot of just like, website landing page type videos and small streams for like, they weren't small, but they were like for conventions. So I would go to the convention and I would be like, okay, let's see who's speaking today. And then we would broadcast out what they were speaking to for like a 10-hour day or something, whatever the length of the convention is. Now, a lot of what I've been involved with is actually music-based because it's like people wanting to put out performances of bands and things like that. But I'm also doing those conventions and virtual graduations and things like that that were in person previously as a digital and virtual event. In addition to that, a lot of the video work that I'm doing right now is taking video of people to send to virtual events. So like, hey, like I am a representative from this company and I need to do some sort of video to send for a convention I cannot attend. So I've been doing a lot of that lately as well. What else have I been doing? I don't know. I did something for a commercial real estate agent this week. I did a late night style TV show this week. I do a little of everything. So, I mean, I like the variety personally. Some people may not like the variety because you have to wear many hats, but I don't know. I have fun with it. Hopefully that answered your question.
I worked for a global event planning company, and once March hit, we just saw everything in our pipeline for the year just go to zero. I mean, we were supposed to have a record year, and immediately overnight it was done. Did you have that feeling as well when did everything cancel and you were up at night thinking, am I going to lose my business?
I had a fun one. I have a fun story for you. So when COVID started...
Exclusive! Here we go!
So I was at a convention when people started being like, maybe I shouldn't travel. And then that was a convention in Arizona, and it was a medical convention. So we were like, are these doctors like overreacting? Oh, this can't be a big deal. The week after that, I was on my way to Florida for a travel convention. And I am literally, I shit you not, standing in Epcot as all of the articles were coming out. New York's closing, this and that, like, oh, this is worse than we thought it was going to be. Oh, COVID-19, like, and all the memes, every single meme, they were all coming out. And I'm sitting there in Epcot, like, holding, like, my fruit sushi that they have in Japan, just like, am I going to be able to get home? They're talking about closing New York.
Yeah. Should I avoid China?
Yeah, exactly. But then I went and I got like food from the China pavilion and I was like, thank you. And then I'm sitting at this travel conference because it's literally travel agents from across the country who are at this conference so that they can learn how to better service these people that are going to be traveling on cruise lines and to different places and this and that. And I'm sitting there just like, am I going to get hit worse? Yeah. Am I going to get COVID because these people are all around the country in this one big room at the Disney Yacht Club? We're going to see how this goes. Yeah. And then I got home and we started getting the calls. So I was supposed to do like a week at a psychotherapy conference in DC. I was supposed to do the Greater Philadelphia Comic-Con. I was supposed to do all of these things that I do every year. And like, I was like projected to have like this great year. Like I was going to pay off all the gear that I bought. Like I bought more gear this year than I bought last year because I needed to get the live stream stuff. Side note. But the thing is, we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what was like what I luckily like I was able to get financial support from the government, but the thing is like what happens when the world shuts down and you do video. Thankfully I have like press credentials, and also like live stream is technically like at least in New York State it was like an essential thing because it's getting news out to people. Maybe not doing things with music, I don't think that would count as an essential thing, but working with a local company that needs to get medical information out or something like that, would be something that's important. So I was like, all right, I'm going to double down on the broadcast equipment. I'm going to buy 2 camcorders this year. I was like, what is wrong with me? And then I started doing like things like the virtual graduations. I started doing things like schools doing board meetings and like broadcasting it out to the parents. I started doing these things that don't seem like they're a huge deal, but they're actually very complicated to do. Like for instance, we did something for a private school that needed to do a virtual ceremony that they usually do in person with all the people that donate money to their school to make them feel safe about donating money to their school. So we had to socially distance 4 people. We had to have microphones for every single person. We had to have cameras on every single person. We had to have it lit. We had to have 4 microphones come into the computer and not drop frames and match the mouths. Like there's all these different steps that people are like, oh, but we can set up a laptop, right? And I'm like, but like you've done Zoom meetings, you see people freeze, you see things drop out. I disappeared for like 2 seconds earlier.
Let's be honest, Celia, like how much do you just want to slap people when they say shit like that?
I wouldn't say slap people, but it's very demeaning in terms of like how they talk to you. Right. Because I had a client who, I don't know if they're going to be a client. We'll see. I hope that they're going to be a client. But on the phone was just like, so how do I get a discount? And I was like,
That's how, so I'm an event coordinator, and that's basically what we're trying to do is be like, one thing goes wrong, discount right away.
No, I'm not even saying goes wrong. This is someone that promised their attendees a virtual hybrid event. And they want me to do the live stream. And they planned the whole event and made it something that they need to do live, pre-recorded, and through Zoom integration. So people logging in like this and having a debate. And they need multiple cameras, multiple microphones, and someone to coordinate and make sure none of that goes wrong. And they didn't even have the updated quote. And he said, how do I get a discount? And everyone on the call laughed except for me. I was like, I don't think you realize like what you guys are asking for. Like, I don't think you understand how complicated of a process it is to make that look like a Academy Award ceremony. Like,
you counter that, Dan.
No. She's doing the right thing by setting the expectations. Like,
yeah,
that's what you have to do right away.
Your job is to get a discount. How would you counter it?
Dan's watching, waiting for it to freeze. Discount.
No, I'm curious to like the event planning side of it, because like if I came to you and said this is going to be a couple $1,000s, let alone like it's a I don't know, a 10-hour like program, and I say it's a couple $1,000s, like realistically, like especially if it's a fundraising event, like is that something that an event planner is going to be like, all right, well, I'm accepting this price, or I'm pushing this down as much as I can.
Always looking for lower. Like that's the thing. Like we're
even if the production suffers for it.
Dick them down, Dan.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like
dick them down.
To a certain extent, it's similar to like how you're saying with like equipment and stuff. Is like yes, but if I get the right people with shittier equipment that will charge me X amount, then okay, It's about.
I would love right now to do like a mock call between the two of them.
I am more than willing to kick Dan out of this call.
No, he can stay, but I do want to make one point. I, on multiple occasions, and also the guy that runs the company that, like one of the companies that I subcontract for, have gotten phone calls from the event saying, hey, these guys fucked up. So I don't know if you guys curse on here. But
that was amazing. That's up. See, you know we're doing something right. You've been so like so calm and collected. We know we've done something right when you start cursing, because now the New York is coming out.
Yeah, get it.
Well, I want to like embrace the intensity of how much these people who live stream, like they live stream, mess it up, and they're like, okay, for some reason there's lines across the screen. We don't know why there's lines across the screen. Or why is it skipping? Or why does the audio not match? And I'm like, you didn't...
It's the end user a lot of the times too. Like that's like the biggest factor is like there's thousands of people logging in.
It's not that part. Maybe if they're doing it on Zoom, but I'm talking about like you're broadcasting this to YouTube for whatever purpose. Mm-hmm. Like they'll call me and they'll be like, these guys are doing this. I don't understand why. I'm like, you didn't want to go with me.
You didn't hire me.
You can either pay me for the information as to why they're messing this up right now, or like you guys chose them.
Right.
And a lot of times the clients come back to me after for the next one because like I don't have those problems. Like, hey, there's a delay between the audio from what we're seeing, like the person's mouth, and what we're hearing. Like, what's the problem? I know how to go in and fix that. Someone that has Sling Video or Sling TV, whatever it's called, or has, you know, like a phone on a tripod doing this, like can't fix that because they're not a broadcast engineer. That's the difference.
When they call you, Celia, do you pick up and go, well?
I should.
That's what I would do. I would so do that. I'd be Mr. Burnsing that shit all the time. But that's a cutthroat business, what you just said. So, like, I don't blame you. And that's what I want to ask. You got all these companies that, like, people go to for weddings and Sweet 16s. And it's almost like, you know, you go to a wedding, these guys have business cards trying to push their shit. And that is not easy. What do you think differentiates you, or how do you plan on getting your name out there differently?
So, like the weddings and stuff isn't my main concentration. If it comes up, I will do it. I've done some wonderful weddings even this year, but I concentrate on businesses. And the difference between me and other people is I have taken the time to figure out how to use video as a piece to solve problems in people's businesses. So if your problem is getting people in the door, that's a whole different problem than like needing to do some sort of client education or needing to do something like an internal like live stream where everyone in your offices around the country, around the world need to hear this information at that one time. All these things are different and all these things have different approaches. I know how to do all of those different things to be like, all right, you're a doctor's office that no one knows is open in Brooklyn. These are the things that people in Brooklyn are worried about. So we're going to make sure that's in the video that's going into your ad. So that's one of the ways that I do that. And then also I like the way that I do my advertising, it's still mostly word of mouth. It's like my Instagram and Facebook page of like technically my personal blog, because I do it just to share what I'm doing. Like if I was doing actual advertising, I would have to sit down and like plan a campaign. Most of what I do is word of mouth. So it's just getting recognized and referred by the correct people to these different entities.
Right. All right. That's
I have a few friends who are photographers and they travel for weddings. People have sent one of my friends to, I think it was Costa Rica and whatnot. Where's the coolest place you've traveled for work?
That's a good question. I'm just going to rattle off a few places that I've been.
Go ahead. Get it. Give me five.
I've been to Dallas. I've been to Phoenix. I've been to San Francisco. I've been to DC. I've been to Baltimore. I've been to Boston. I've been to many a place. That's 6. I've been to many different parts of, like, obviously, like, New York. I've done Long Island. I've done the boroughs. I've done Manhattan. I've done Jersey City. I've done many places in New Jersey. I've traveled around. Like, it's one of those things where, and I always make this joke because people are like, where's your office? I'm like, my office is in my house because I have to travel to where the pictures or the video is. And like people, like, it's funny because when people try and get a hold of me, like, especially for like planning a shoot or something, they'll try and call me and I'm like, I'm in the middle of a shoot right now. I'll get back to you later today or tomorrow. I'm in the middle of an 8-hour shoot. And like, they don't comprehend that like that shoot's not happening at my office because people are used to like, so there was a loud noise. People are used to like
discount, Dan.
But yeah, they're used to being at their job. They're used to being in their normal life, and they're not used to having to do things like figure out the New York subway system to go to a shoot. So like it's an interesting take on work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, is it more pressure when they do fly you out? Just like I feel like if it was somewhere in New York, Long Island, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go there. They live out here. But if somebody flew me out across the country and said, do a good job, I'd be like, oh crap, if I mess this up.
Oh no, it's so much more fun.
Oh wow.
I have so much more fun.
Yeah,
because usually for those type of things. I'm being flown out. I'm being put up in a hotel room. The people that are doing those aren't the penny pusher people that are like pressuring you to do a good job on a low budget. Those are the people that are like, I have a convention that I'm running. I need you to take care of this. I trust you, and you're going to take care of this whole aspect of the live stream that I don't have to worry about because I know you guys know what you're doing. Because would you hire someone for a convention that is in the middle of a different state that doesn't know what they're doing?
No.
That's fair.
So like all of those conventions, they're like, yeah, like if you don't want to eat with all the people at the convention, you have like a food budget. If you guys want to go out to like a steakhouse, just don't exceed $75 a person. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the steakhouse.
Celia, as huge Applebee's half price apps fans here, we would not exceed that in 3 days.
Oh my God, we would still go after 10 for half price. We would get one of everything, please.
What's the one time you actually got nervous that like maybe you didn't do a good job? Was there ever a time you were like, you know, when you I don't know, make a, like if me and Brian record a song, we're like, we didn't hit that, and then one of your friends is like, this is the best song you've ever done, or like this is the best photo you've ever taken. Was there ever a time you're like, I'm not feeling this one? Or you're flawless. Everything.
I have two different takes on that. The first one is like, whenever I give someone a deal, and like for instance, I did a micro budget project. I think I quoted them at like $375 and was really hard on the start and end time, but they kept asking for more and more and more and more and more to be in this video. And I was like, you have 90 minutes, whatever we get in that 90 minutes, and you have 3 hours of editing. Like, because it was like someone reading off of a script. They were the biggest pain in my ass that I stopped doing anything on a micro budget because of this client. They called me after the shoot saying, we can't get it on the TV. And I'm like, I'm not your IT guy. Like, I don't know your system to like hit the button on the TV to like connect it to the HDMI wire. They're like, can you come in? And I was like, no, like that's not my job. So like being pressured in a short amount of time to like physically get everything, that's where I get nervous. But on the flip side, proposal shoots.
Okay, yeah.
Proposal shoots are the scariest thing that you can ever shoot because usually you're hiding somewhere.
Couldn't it be the best though? Have you ever seen a no?
No, I haven't seen a no, but a lot of the proposal shoots are like really high stakes because half the time you need to be far enough away that the girl doesn't see you. Like if you've ever thought about that, like how far eyesight of someone with a big camera and a big lens like this big, like to get that reaction.
Like birding, you're a birder.
That's awesome. It's like, I really had a good time with you, and you're just like.
Yeah. The other thing, like these are things that you don't think about when you're planning it. Like I have to usually shoot at like the lowest possible f-stop that I have, so I have this much focus. Like that I can mess that up real easy, real tiny focus because I've done it at nighttime at an ice skating rink where they wanted to do it on the far side of the ice skating rink. I've done it in a vineyard where they're way down like the line, and if I focus on the wrong thing in that vineyard because there is that line of grapes or whatever, like their photo is completely and utterly just gone.
Celia, I have to ask, did you ever you don't have to say a certain time, you could just say yes or no. Have you ever been asked to do something for one of these proposals and then while you're doing it turn to your boyfriend and say, never do this shit, this is fucking stupid?
No,
come on.
There has not, but there was one proposal that he was there. And like I'm like in the middle of like a bush over like a railing at the beach, just like in there, and he was just like, I don't think I would do a beach proposal. I was like, you don't do the beach proposal,
right? As stupid. Listen, say, look, I went to the jewelry store with my wife before she was my wife, and she pretty much told the lady what she wanted.
That's what a lot of people do.
The lady wrote it on a card, and I kept it in my wallet for a year until I was ready to go back. Men need direction like that. So if you don't want something, let him know, because we're stupid. And we will just do something dumb that you want, like that you weren't envisioning. Just drop hints and he'll get it eventually.
It's the thought behind it, Scott. It's not the actual thing.
Oh, Brian, it is the thing. It's all the thing.
It's always been the thing.
I feel like it tells a lot about a guy on how much prep, like what the plan is, like what they want to do. Because I know for a fact that like my boyfriend, like he's gonna do whatever his idea is. If I gave him an idea, I would call that out before anything happened.
Right.
Like I even told him, I was like, someone tells me to get my nails done, I'll know. Like I will know instantly that something is happening, because like I'm not that person that goes and gets their nails done every week. Like little things like that, like someone will pick up on it. Like so like I don't want to know what he's doing.
Do you want to know how I proposed?
I would love to.
Okay. I put a card on my puppy, Tino. Okay. And I said to my wife, I said, call your dog. So she called the dog and she opened the card and it said, will you marry my daddy? And I was behind her kneeling with the ring.
That's cute.
I know.
And I had a camera in the living room.
It's adorable. Absolutely adorable. No, but I agree. Listen, this was I'm out of questions. This was awesome. Brian, Eric, Dan, if you got any.
They're like, no, she's destroying all of the things. She's trying to inspire many people. We got to get rid of her.
Celia, where can we catch your stuff? Plug your stuff here. Wow.
So if you guys want to follow the place where you're going to find the most of my stuff, that's going to be Instagram at Celia_Werner. My business Instagram is at Celia Werner. You can find me on YouTube. Luckily, it's under Celia Werner again, so you can find me there. And then on Facebook, you can also find me at Celia Werner Productions. So many places. If you search my name on Google, you're pretty much going to find me. So there you go. That's all the places.
We're not done yet. We have this thing we do at the end of each episode. It's called Gun to Your Head segment. It's kind of like a Would You Rather. But since we do mainly hip-hop, we like to make it a little wordplay-ish. And it's not like Would You Rather Dr. Seuss or Roald Dahl. That's a weird example. Weird example.
Literally anything else.
Yeah. So it's 2 questions each. And you got to pick an answer to each of the questions, and at the end you got to pick a winner of who had the best question.
Okay.
And we kind of keep score. It's an ongoing stupid boyfriend thing that we fucking hang over each other's heads because we're
boyfriend.
Boyfriend. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're all boyfriends.
I will not go first this time. I will give the honor to Brian. Take it away.
Mine are probably not good.
Definitely not.
Just started off like that.
Mine too.
What's better, killing 2 birds with 1 stone or having your cake and eating it too?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with 2 birds and 1 stone.
Murderer.
No, I just like being very efficient.
I would have went with cake.
Murder.
Where's that bird?
You going, Brian?
All right. Would you rather paint a wall with your face or your feet? I just thought
my
that
feet.
was ridiculous.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right, she went with feet. I'll go next. I made it a little like photography type thing. I went with the Dan method.
That's what I do.
Too fucking bad. Yours were terrible last time.
Dan.
Yeah,
Discount Dan.
He was looking for
Dan.
a discount.
Yeah. All right. If you could use one of these photography puns for the rest of your life, what would you pick? If someone said, "Hey, are you done?" and you said, "In a flash," or "How are you doing?" "I'm staying focused." Which one? Which one would you pick?
Staying focused.
Okay, they're both horrible. I know.
Yeah, I know. They're both pretty bad, but I feel like people would just like every time I say "in a flash," just be like,
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
That was the perfect embodiment of how I felt listening to you read that. The concept was great, but the build
the
up,
execution,
the letdown of it, of Flash and
Hey, feet wall painters sitting over there. All right. Would you rather take the perfect picture or have people describe your work as picture perfect? Bars.
Yikes.
Yeah.
First words.
I would say picture perfect because that'll turn into more jobs.
All right. Sounds good. Dan, we'll go. Hey, discount Dan. You're up.
Dan's only got one.
Dan's name's actually Sarah today. If you noticed on Zoom.
Yeah, I've seen it the whole time.
Yeah, it's called Sarah Dolan Discount Dan.
All right. So would you rather have a negative outlook on like, or always have a focused vision?
Focus vision.
That's easy one. Okay. So would you rather only? Okay.
I see
This
where
is
you.
the better one.
I got
This
you.
is the
I see
better
where you're
one.
going.
Easy one.
Okay.
I would say I want a negative outlook at life.
So
It's 2020. We already have that.
yeah.
He's got your back, Dan.
All right. So
Dan is a
would you rather? So would you rather only be able to use a '90s camcorder or have a guy named Cam follow you playing a recorder?
Ooh. How good is he? How good is Cam? Do I get
He's
my
very
own
good at playing the
music?
recorder.
100%
Anywhere you go.
Cam.
Anywhere you go.
Yes, 100%, because I'm gonna have my own soundtrack. You
All
know,
the
if
time.
I'm dragging in the morning, like he's gonna play that tuba part, but on the recorder. Like, what are you talking about? That's amazing.
This is
I beat the
infuriating
potatoes
because
to
he might get the
tomatoes.
win. Eric, you
He's gonna win. No, mine are garbage. You're from the East Coast? Are you familiar with Rutgers University?
Yeah, I drive past it whenever I go down to Pennsylvania.
Thank God. Okay. Would you rather eat a 3-pound burger from Fuddruckers or go to a Rutgers party with Elmer Fudd?
Ooh. I actually really have to think about that one.
It's a really good question. You should probably pick it.
Ooh. Probably go to a party with Elmer Fudd.
Yeah, that's a great answer. This
How about Rick Corder?
yeah, it's no recorder. Would you rather not get paid after doing a wedding shoot, like they stiff you, or losing the wedding pictures and videos?
Those are both horrible situations because there was one time where in the middle of a wedding I had to buy a recovery program because the computer we were dumping photos on totally wiped the card.
It's terrible.
I would say probably I would rather get stiffed.
Yeah, I would say the same. That's very good.
All right,
good for you.
Celia,
Hire her, everybody.
before you pick a winner, we do a Mad Libs thing now. So your life consisting of these four, your life is picture perfect. You're getting followed around by a guy named Cam with a 90s recorder, and you're on your way to a Rutgers party with Elmer Fudd while you're killing two birds with one stone.
There you go.
That went. The Elmer Fudd thing, it went.
That's a hell of a fucking day, if you ask
Yeah.
me. But you have to pick a winner. What was your favorite question?
I think Eric won because that last one got me. That last one I
It was the
really have to
last
think
one. It's
about.
always the last one.
All right,
So,
Dan,
wedding
don't be
videos
such a
with-
sore loser. Eric hasn't won in weeks.
Yeah, I needed this. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Who's in the lead just for curiosity right now?
I'm gonna say I'm up
Ryan.
30. I'm up 32-6.
There's
Probably.
Ryan's been
there's
crushing it.
absolutely no way I'm murdering everybody. I
Yeah.
have to be.
Brian's winning.
Got cheats, so he's winning.
But Celia, there's been a lot of controversy, and I
There's no
think
controversy.
there's extreme controversy. Are you kidding me? I think I'm winning.
Controversy.
But,
You guys need to go through all of the episodes and literally go and tally it up.
I just edit them and make myself win, though, at the end of the day, so it wouldn't work. Celia, thanks a lot for coming on. This was awesome. It was a little out of
Thank
our
you.
realm.
Yeah,
I know,
that's really cool.
I know, like, we've had a bunch of rappers on and stuff, but, like, this was really cool. And it's like you said, don't veer into one lane. You know, spread your wings and
Gotta
go
evolve.
one lane. So this was informative as hell. I mean, I loved it. That's just me. I'm hoping you had a good time and it wasn't like your simple cheese bowl recording and the shit you mentioned before we started. So
Oh, I had a lot of fun. This was a fun one, and if you ever want me to come back for some reason, just let me know.
Well,